videos going on YouTube. This is Acid Roots. This would be part 11 of the Final Fantasy Mystic Quest Ravioli run as far as what's going to happen. I mean, either way you look at it, it's kind of part 11 of those particular type fairs, because the initial run that I did, or the one that I did from 2021 got sabotaged. The one from 2018 kind of was expanded upon for a few years that became the Ravioli run. So it's just further type aspects within some of this particular type fair. I might compile this one in part 10, some of these type pitches, because part 10 was really only about 3.5-4 minutes, some of those type fairs. So I might make this like a super size type one later on. Don't hold your breath for it right now, though. I'm probably going to beat the game before I get towards that, but it's just kind of the pitch as far as saying, yeah, I don't know, I just used to really be more beastly within the aspect of doing these particular videos back in 2018, because I really would just do like a 50-minute commentary and then just do it all at once, but there's just, I don't have the patience for that nowadays. But I look after here just being able to say the aspect behind it is don't expect progress in this particular episode. I'm just trying to shore up some levels here for some of these folks. I realize that only the main character is the only one that levels up. Your computer controlled or just party member does not level up, so Phoebe's not going to level up here, but it's just within the pitch as far as saying I still feel like maybe level 29 is a little bit light within the concept of tackling the final dungeon. It's not that I couldn't win, but it's just kind of the pitch as far as saying I just want to get the numbers up. It's particularly for completing this battlefield that I'm showing here, all 10 of these fights, you do get the thunder ability. So I think within aspects the game does want you to do the battlefields, because you do get some rewards. And I realize it's going to be kind of scanned if all I do is just use like the bombs or the arrows or whatever to be able to keep attacking these enemies, and it's just the same concept just over and over. So I need to get some of these spells. I don't know if I'll do every last battlefield, but I may at least do a series of these just to be able to get towards it, because we at least get done with this particular battlefield, the 10 fights here. It's just going to be dredge of it, but then I look after it on top of that. I do get decently far in the next battlefield that's also in the volcano area, so it's just going to pitch as far as saying, but you know, this is just kind of how these type of Final Fantasy games were back in like 91, 92, some of those type of pitches. This kind of concept is hella, I mean, you look after most people say this is hella boring, something like that. This is just, you're putting me to sleep, some of those particular type fairs. I look after it. The concept about it is, I mean, I look after it here, it just depends on what happens. I mean, it's not as much, when you have the extra kind of after effects, obviously with the Spotify years, it just works that much better. If you can go from playing like some tunes, getting like some good music in there, playing like System of a Down, and some of those type ones that just keeps things lively and pitches like that, you know, playing like Limp Bizkit, some of those type folks that just be some good after effects. I'm not really as full bound sure as to what would particularly kind of be full boundedness kind of music for Final Fantasy. Just some pitch, you would think something like Blood on the Dance Floor, or like something that has a little bit more Japanimation kind of in mind within the pitch. But I just look at, I mean, there are folks that just can't designate them within the pitch immediately within the fashion behind it, but you know, like female rappers like Megan Thee Stallion really like, you know, Final Fantasy, that type of stuff is within the pitch. But I look after just being able to say Spotify type music easily, the sort of fair, especially these Ravioli runs within the pitch behind it. I just would have to say the concept about it kind of is here is just being able to order pizza and then just have the whole fair. Now I realize, you know, back in 2018 when I completed most of this game, the concept of it was a little bit more retro within a sense, but I just look after here just being able to say the concept kind of behind it is just important to get this damn game done. I just realized that in the past, with the fact I do appreciate this game. I wouldn't want folks thinking here within the context of it that I just don't like Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. This is an awesome game, easy enough to say. The thing I said before, at least in one of these episodes from at least 2022 forward, that I said that this game probably would be like a 10 out of 10 for me in terms of the aspect behind it. I mean, it's a basic one, but this is probably, I mean, I think if you cannot beat this game, you probably would not be too big a fan of role-playing games. This is like the most entry and kind of this gateway type one within the pitch behind it, but I just look after it here. I mean, it is ancient. That's just kind of the concept. It's just one of those type ones that it's just like, if you were to ever play the first Final Fantasy for the old Nintendo from the 80s, that one from back in those days, the concept about it is it's very much just like brick and mortar. What you see is what you get, that it is just monotonous to an after effect. I used to own, for the old Game Boy Advance, there was like a Final Fantasy 1 and 2 that they made for that, and it had some of those type of ones, and it was just kind of the pitch that even in that particular game, it's just, they tried to spruce it up and provide like some like doctorings to kind of make it less monotonous. But just these sorts of games, anything before Final Fantasy VII, is just kind of the concept for folks that really like these games. You have to understand that it is, you have to really you have to really dissect the night as far as just making it interesting, because it kind of goes from like hardcore to casual pretty quickly. I mean, Final Fantasy VIII doesn't have that problem. I want to say Final Fantasy X in certain senses. Final Fantasy X-2, the one with like like all of Titus's girlfriends, those sorts of pitches, they don't have as much of those problems. The ones for the PlayStation 2 definitely don't, and the ones for like PS3 and some of those type of ones. But just looking after these older ones, it's kind of the concept that it's just more in like a hardcore. It's just like pacing yourself to whether or not when you have like your chill factor to what's going on with your pals, is that the certain degree as to how much you're gonna have like an anime kind of night. It's just within the pitch as far as saying just whether or not you are gonna watch like One Piece all night or one of those type of ones within some of those type of areas. It's kind of the same pitch, but this is a good game, but it's just kind of the pitch that it just, if you don't have like the juicy kind of personality within the aspect this can be. It's just one of those ones that you probably fall asleep to. You just have like that buddy that's just playing this until 3 or 4 in the morning, and you just fall asleep on the couch and just with a plate of pizza and a Dr. Pepper or something like. It's just kind of the pitch, but that's just kind of the fair about it. But there's really nothing wrong with this game. I just look within the fair here, but that's just kind of the concept. So, but the problem with it for me is I just don't remember the overworld as far as how to get to some of these type of places. I just look after it here. The main, like a certain kind of annoyance is just that overworld tower that's to where you get to all the crystal areas within those pitches. I always forget the way around within that particular area. That's another form of the monotony here, is there's no like warp functions to this. In certain senses, I guess in certain aspects it has it like in a minor sense, but you really do have to go through the trudge of just walking through the overworld to get to the places that you need to go through. If you do have to go back to like the volcano town or the snow town, some of those type of places, or the forest town, some of those type of places, it's kind of the aspect that you do have to kind of trudge through it. So this is kind of the fair, but I just look after here just being able to say. So I want to do some more of these battlefields. I think if I were to go back to the ones at the beginning of the game, it probably would just be like clockwork, kind of easy within the pitch behind it. But I just look after here. I'm just trying to figure out. I probably should do some of the tougher ones and probably gain more experience, because I noticed that like my character's zone didn't really level up within the pitch behind it. So it's just kind of the fair as far as saying that. Yeah, I realized that all I'm really doing is just wasting bombs and ammo and some of those type pitches. I'm going to have to restock on bombs, because I think even with having 99 bombs, I still would probably say within the aspect of it that I probably will need quite a few multifaceted gallery of attacks to be able to fight, like especially the final boss. I don't remember. I have watched this game on a playthrough at least once or twice, not commonly, but it's probably been since like at least 2014 or 2013 since I really watched this game thoroughly. I know Capri Sun did this game. I know like a few other folks have, but in terms of like just a standard playthrough, HC Bailey, some of those type of folks. But just within the pitch, as far as saying, I just look after within the tone, just within the aspect as far as those pitches kind of happen. It's just kind of the tone that just being able to say, you just would look after it here. There's just like a certain like flair about this game. So yeah, that's the concept. So subscribe for more fun. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful night. We'll get to more of these. There'll probably be another experience run.